Hello and welcome to this JavaScript tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to learn what are functions. So a function is nothing but it is a set of codes, or it contains some line of codes which gets executed when you call a function. So the reason for using functions is that if you want to use a line of code, or if you want to use a set of codes n number of times, so instead of typing the whole line of codes once again, you simply call a function which contains the lines of code. So let's start by creating some basic function. So the basic syntax for creating a function is you type the keyword function, which tells the web browser that the function begins from here. Now you give a particular name to your function. So let's say we give the name as fun1. So let's say fun1 is the name of the function. Now after giving the name, you include these parentheses right after the function, and this parenthesis is going to include the parameters which you are going to pass to the function. Now for the sake of this tutorial, we are going to not discuss about what are the parameters inside the parentheses. We are going to discuss it in the next tutorial. So let's move on. So once you have the function keyword, the function name and the parentheses, then we give an opening curly bracket and a closing curly bracket, and the entire code inside the function is going to lie in between these two curly brackets. So inside this function you could include any code which you want. So let's go ahead and write some code in the function. So we type document dot write, and we type the text as, let's say, this is a function. So once you have this code with you, you simply save it and just open up and execute this in a web browser. So as you could see, nothing pops up into the web browser, and that is because we have declared the function but we have not yet called the function. So in order to make a function call, you simply type the function name, and the function name in this case is fun1, and you give parentheses right after it, and you give a semicolon after it. Now this thing right here, or this code right here, is called as the function call. So this line of code here is going to call this function fun1, which in turn is going to execute the lines of code which are present in this function in between these two parentheses. Now if we save the program, or now if we save the code and execute it on a web browser, you will see that it displayed the text that this is a function. Now if I modify some contents in this function, so let's say if I change this to, this is a function being called, and if I include the same set of lines in the same function, and then if we save the code and then execute it on the web browser, you will see that the function is called one time, and you will notice that the code inside the function is executed. So if our function was blank, that is, it contained nothing, and if we run the code now, you will see that nothing gets returned, and that is because our function is blank. So that's how you create a basic function, and that's how you call a function. So the basic syntax for creating a function is that you use the keyword function, which is used for declaring a function. Then you name the function, and you could name the function anything, and then after naming your function, you give this two parentheses and you start your function by opening curly bracket. Then you have the code within your function, which is in this case document.write, and you end the function by using a closing curly bracket. Now once you have declared the function, the next thing which you need to do is you need to call the function. So in order to call a function, you simply use the function name, then a parentheses, and after the parentheses you end the statement by using a semicolon. So that's what a function declaration and a function call is, and I hope you understand why functions are used and how they are declared and how they are called. So that's it for this tutorial, and in the next tutorial we will be discussing about passing parameters to functions. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.